recap and bring you up to where we were with everything, and then we will start moving on to this week's. Okay.
So where we were essentially with doing the thumbnails, variations of them, and we started with the first one, and now we're looking at that, I believe, right now. So that initially, when you're doing a thumbnail, a lot of it is just like instinct, and it's whatever the imagery comes first, and then you can go and revisit the page again now that you've kind of like been able to visualize what it looks like and see if there's different ways you can approach it. And so what I'm thinking of with the second version, second variation here, is instead of looking at the room almost like straight down, we're looking at it almost like at a fisheye angle. And I'm just trying to vary each shot, maybe change the timing. You can see panel 2 or 3, I should say, where Sam is walking across to the door, and it's a little bit more of a mid stride than the one in the previous thumbnail I had done. And what we were kind of discovering was, I think your commentary was,
100%,
it's
and that's
changing
exactly
the
what we
tone
looked
of
at
the
was
page a bit.
which one actually gives more atmosphere of what we were trying to do. And kind of what we decided was that our first take on it was probably the closest, but we really loved that moving across panel 3, that kind of frenetic running across the room. So we ended up keeping that and putting it into the original, but basically starting with mostly where we were and kind of Frankensteining it together a little bit.
So then with the second thumbnail, um, I was approaching it, again, seeing if I can, like, for example, with the second panel, we're actually seeing the close up of the remote versus in the original thumbnail on the number 2, we're actually seeing the person in front of the TV, and we see the reflection of the TV. So I was like, oh, that's kind of redundant because we also see that in panel 3 of the original one. So I just removed that
Mhm.
panel in 2A, as we're calling it here, and in 2B, I replaced it with the remote. And again, like your commentary on the on the tone of
Mhm.
this was different from
Absolutely. We found
the
that,
original
again, it
one. So what
changed
was
the
that?
energy of it, and seeing those extreme close-ups like the click was really neat, right? Those kind of inset moments, and also looking at just where Sam was looking on the page and how that's helping to drive the direction of things. Another big revelation that we had was in the original version, we had the street light doing some work to highlight the door, and instead we moved it to the shelf falling to kind of have the door have a bit of power. So that was something we hadn't come up with in the original that we really liked as we did the next version. So it was interesting that for the first one, we almost stayed entirely with the original. And for page 2, we almost entirely went to the updated version.